Some days they're blue, some days they're green, some days they're gray. I have hazel eyes.
I have ever-changing eyes.
All right, we're now streaming live.
All right, so I've got to share this. On Patreon. Oops, Command V. I'm running out of spatzel here, peoples.
Do you still have your knife?
Yep. Event. Allorah, Rayne. This live stream is for patrons only and features the magic of you, Oracle, Fiona, Horn, and the Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake, isn't it?
Yes.
I just had that information in my head.
You're too good, mate. Too good.
Features, I can't spell though. Features, the Everyday Witch Tarot. Cards, ritual, and more. Okay. Publish now.
Oh, I guess I should go to the watch page, hey?
I'm just making sure that it's working perfectly.
It is.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. So it is sorted. Hello, and blessings, beautiful souls. This is a Patreon-only live stream with my bestie, Allorah, Rayne. We are having a ton of fun today, folks. It is Friday afternoon. We've got about 30 to 40 minutes to get this done. We have been live streaming for about 3 hours today, haven't we, Allorah?
Yeah, since 9 this morning, and it is now 1.
Okay, since 11, and it is now almost, it's now 3. So we have just unboxed, blessed, activated, etc. the Magic of You Oracle. But before I get started into all the details, Allorah, I forgot myself. Introduce yourself, because we've been talking for hours. I just sort of picked up where we left off.
So for those of you who may not be familiar with me, but hopefully you are, I am Allorah Rayne. I live part-time between Western Australia and semi-nomadically in the United States. I have a Bachelor of Science in History with minors in Anthropology and English. I am a wayfaring witch, which means I flip from place to place with intention. And I am a card slinger. I have been slinging cards since I was 9 years old, learning since I was 9 years old, all about them, so I love them. And I just launched my website, www.allorahraine.com. You can find me on all social media, Instagram, Twitter, all that good junk, Facebook page, yada, yada. So yeah, that's me. Yay!
Now, Allorah Rayne and I, we are indeed the best of friends. We're not just saying that.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh yeah, everyone calls each other besties these days. No, Allorah and I actually talk every single day. Every single day we FaceTime. She's come to visit me. She knows my children. My children know her as Auntie Laura. My husband knows her. She's known to the family. And so we unboxed the Magic of You Oracle by Fiona Horn with artwork by Marcella Bolivar.
So,
we unboxed this together.
Yeah, and if you guys didn't catch that live stream, you can catch it on Avalon's channel because it was public for everybody to watch. We went card by card through the deck. But now over here, we're going to give like our behind the scenes
impressions.
Yeah.
Essentially our first impressions. Now, again, if you weren't able to view that live stream, and it's a long one, so I don't blame you if you don't want to go and watch it. I'm not saying it's a prerequisite, but we unboxed it. We flipped through card for card, as Allorah was saying. We also, got the hiccups. We also used it alongside tarot in readings for the public. So we were able to pull cards individually for people and use it alongside tarot. We were able to read some of the card descriptions and some of the rituals that were included. And that's something important to talk about. So let's just talk about the guidebook first and foremost.
Yes.
All right. So starting with the fact that the guidebook is 105 pages. It's a decent little guidebook. It is.
Yes, I agree.
I happen to love the way that the author writes, and I would have liked to have seen a thicker guidebook from her because she is an author first. And like the way that she's written, it's beautiful. And the fact that she has created this, she is an Australian witch that created this deck for witches and mystical folks, right? She does point out that you don't need to be a witch to read with this, but you can benefit from the mystical aspect of this deck. So, Allorah, do you want to talk about the rituals that come with each of the cards, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I really like that she included a ritual for each of the cards. And I like the fact that the rituals that are in here are very much geared towards the witch. They're very geared towards the person on the spiritual path. You don't have to be on a alternative spiritual path to do the rituals. You can do them anyway, but I like the fact that it is tailored to the magical practitioner, that the rituals are, and that they are rituals. There was one particular card where the ritual was put yourself in the underworld, literally, and I thought that was just brilliant. Like this, and it's not cheesy rituals. Like, I know that sounds horrible, but sometimes with oracle decks, you know, the suggestions are really, really new agey in their thinking, and I like how this is not.
I'd be inclined to agree with that, and also to say that there is such an open and honest approach to the writing of each of the cards, and the prose isn't too heavy. Like, she's not flowery as she talks, but her words are beautifully used, and it sort of hits you. Like, it hits you really nicely.
Yeah, and it's definitely not sugar coated throughout the guidebook. So this is not, I don't think that this is a deck that you would use if somebody is looking for a little bit of sweet sugar on top of a reading. Like, this is not that oracle. This is not that oracle.
That's right.
And
I'm echoing a little bit, so I've just got to fix my echo. Oh, yeah. Maybe I just completely, I don't even know why I thought I was echoing then. Hey, Wellsies. Right. So one of the things that I wanted to say in the very introduction of the guidebook, she says, in keeping with what Allorah is just saying, like, she doesn't sugarcoat it. The closing line of the second paragraph in the introduction reads, "Be open to this. You are worth more than a quick fix."
Yeah, I love that.
So that was a really great little, it holds on. Okay. The guidebook is what it is. It explains to you exactly how to use it. It's beautifully laid out. You've got color representations right there of the cards and their little thumbnails. There's beautiful graphics in the book, and you get a decent amount of stuff, right? Let's go into the deck now. Allorah, do you have anything more that you'd like to say about the book?
No, I think it's, yeah, well, no.
It is what it is. Like, it's well written, it's well laid out. I would have liked to have seen more from her. I would have liked to have seen a bigger book, because I think that tiny books like that, the writing is really minute. And when someone is as good a writer as that, you can afford to give them more pages and more room on the page as well. But of course, if you increase the size of the book, you also increase the size of the box and everything associated. So,
well, but this is the thing too that I was thinking of. So we are talking about Everyday Witch Tarot as well. So when I look at the Everyday Witch book, okay, so being Fiona Horn is who she is in the Australian public, in pop culture, in the witch culture, being that she has that standing, I would have liked to seen something like this for the book, because like absolutely could have done this. You know what I mean? Could have had some full view of the cards in the guidebook. I mean, it's not a make or break thing. Like, this is fine, but this would have been awesome. You know what I mean? Are you dying?
oh my God. What is that sound?
What?
I can hear like this. Hang on.
Is it me?
No, it's me, I think.
Is it the music?
No, it's fine. It is totally fine.
But so back to my point though. I mean, like I said, this is fine, but this would have been awesome. You know what I mean?
All right. So, do you have a drink, Allorah?
Oh yeah. I don't have
Alcoholic beverage?
I don't have an adult beverge.
I have an adult beverage because it's 3:00 in the afternoon and my kids are about to go on school holidays for 2 weeks. So cheers, folks.
No, I don't have one yet because we have to go pick them up from school. So really.
Fair enough. All right, folks. So this is what we are going to do. We're going to give you our honest thoughts and opinions on the deck. And then we decided last minute to unbox this. So
I have it. Evelyn hasn't had it yet.
I haven't had it yet. And I would never have purchased it had it not been for Allorah, but we'll tell you that story. So, as it was, Allorah has a story with this deck, The Magic of You, which she told in her live stream. So do check that out. It's the very start of the live stream. You don't have to watch the whole thing again. But we went through each card. You can observe our expressions. And one thing that I would like to say is the titles of the cards. Resilience is fine. Burn away the past. Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. I know that word.
Me too.
I feel like that's a tribe.
Epoch, Hex, Lavaria, Avenoir, which obviously opulence, translucence, sacrifice, Maximus, Orenda, solitude, euphoria, tangibility, detox, samadhi.
Ah, that's how I know it. Sorry. I just looked up Ubuntu. It is a term, it is an African philosophy meaning humanity. I am because we are.
Right.
I knew that word.
Fefa, você conhece a palavra Ubuntu?
Ubuntu?
É.
No.
Tá bom. She hasn't heard of it.
Huh.
Yeah, so the titles of each of the cards aren't always very descriptive.
Right.
And that's one thing, like Orendia and Avenoir. These are all real words, folks. There are some that are actually tricky to pronounce. We had problems with, what's that really? I'm trying to look.
Oh my gosh, but you know what? Like they aren't super descriptive, right? So you kind of but I think that's why I kind of like them, because at first you don't know some of these terms, but then when you start digging into them.
Yeah.
Palavra indígena.
Yeah, she knows it. I was not pronouncing it right.
Ubuntu.
She goes, it's Ubuntu.
So for I don't even know if this is how you say it, but furgun, an informal modern Hebrew term and concept in Israeli culture which describes genuine, unselfish delight or pride in the accomplishment of another person.
Yeah.
And that is used on the card that is become a loving mirror.
That's right.
So they make
paradisical, like you belong to paradise, that's fine. Panacea.
That means medicine.
Every time I look at it, it makes me think of pancreas.
But it means medicine.
Mm.
The cure.
Kurgan.
It means cure, yeah.
Oblivion, phenomenon. So these, like, they're not made up words.
No, Marak. I've heard that before. That means oneness with the universe. I mean, they mean what the little tagline says.
Yeah.
Or they have some connection to.
Yeah, well, in other terms, it's not so much like oblivion, open your arms. Like those two aren't necessarily connected. But here's what I'm going to say. The artwork in this deck is out of this world. It is photo collage, but you do not see it, folks. For those of you like cringing at the sound of photo collage because you've seen some hideous Doreen Virtue deck, or you have seen, you know, Colette Baron-Reid used to do these beautiful photo collage, but you could tell that it was a photo mixed with a digital image, and the fusion of the two just, it looked disjointed. You could see where one stopped and the other one started. You cannot see it.
Check this out. Avenoir means the desire that memory can flow backwards.
And that's a perfect word.
But I'm a word junkie. Like I love extending my vocabulary. So I'm all like, ooh, let me learn these words.
Yes. We should play a game, in fact.
Oh, no.
No, not now. But like every day of our lives, we'll play a game.
Word of the day.
Yes, but we'll make it so entertaining. This is the word of the day. Use it 16 times. Use it with Wednesday's word, Friday's word, and Saturday's word from the week before.
So I have to say, I am disappointed in the cardstock.
Oh, let's talk about this. I was shuffling and a piece of my, here it is. I can't even pick it up. Like an actual piece of the top part of the card came off, like an actual piece of the card. I've never had that happen. And now check it. I can't remember which, here. And my shuffling was apparent. I didn't overhandle it. It wasn't manhandled. I didn't drop it. It just, as I was shuffling, I'm like, oh my God, it started to just lift and peel. And that shows really weak cardstock. So as beautiful as the images are, I just like to reach out to Fiona Horn and say, I love your deck. I purchased your deck. I hate the cardstock of your deck. Can I reprint it on better cardstock? Like, for personal use?
And you know, it's even more disappointing because it's such a good box.
Mm-hmm.
Like they went to all the trouble for a stellar boxing.
And it is a good box.
But then when it came to the cards, it was kind of like, meh.
But look at this. Check this out. This is the box. As you can see, there is a lip. There is a significant just over half a centimeter's worth of room in the box. So your deck is going to do this. That shouldn't happen. See? Now, if it does, it's still secure in there. But over time, if you're a person like, oh, I'm just going to chuck this in my bag, I'm just going to do this. See the movement? And that's all because I didn't measure it properly.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's enough space. Now, On the plus side, for boxes with more space, you can add a crystal. Granted, it's not a very big crystal, but you can put a little flat stone in there or something else entirely. So you've got a little bit of room. So there's that. And the box itself is beautiful, spot gloss. Really, really nice box. Now, I loved the backing of the deck. It's just a very simple key, but not as simple as I'm making it out to be. So it's a simple key. The symbolism of the key was repeated in one card in the deck. And in the guidebook, you have that key layout there. The inside layout here, you have that starry layout there as well. So from a design point of view, it was beautifully designed. Box, book, and deck were beautifully designed. Horrendous cardstock, just horrendous. Which is usually what happens. You get these beautiful images and these terrible cardstock. Like,
yes.
So there is, let's talk about the complexity of the deck. For every issue, for every question, there is a card. So it is a well-rounded deck in the way that each card is designed. So there were cards that, and we had this experience as we're pulling cards for, you know, questions in the audience. We had this experience where one card was enough to answer the question. Just one card was like, okay, like just boom, it just hits you with a word. There are other cards that make you work for it. And on those cards, we found ourselves pulling tarot cards and, you know, really trying to open it up. But the actual oracle really held a prominent place in that reading at that time. And it lent a lot to the story. It gave it dimension. It gave meaning. And the feedback from people who are receiving the reading was just like, oh, you know, like when you hit them with some truth, when you hit them with some hard fact.
Yeah, for sure.
It cuts through just the haze. It cuts through the bullshit. And it gets to the crux of the matter and it reveals exactly what needs to be revealed. I feel like, oh, here we go. I didn't have my thing popped up. Cross Potent, how you going? Avalon has a new necklace. No, it's an old one. Alrighty. I have to put this other one away, Zil. Oh, that one's dead. That's right. Okay.
And
so, Allorah, I don't think I've actually shared this in my Facebook. I've got to go and find the live stream and share it in my Facebook. Like my Patreon group. So, oh my God.
Thinking about the Magic of You Oracle in conjunction with other decks, I would say it's a really good one for when you have a lot of contradictory cards.
Right.
Because then this kind of is the glue that kind of makes them make sense and gives you like an idea of what exactly you're trying to hone in on.
I would say that's true, and that's probably why it is. It's referred to as a great companion deck to open up reading.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm posting this. Copy. Post. I'm just going to post this in all 3 of my Patreon groups and private Patreon groups, of course. And we can get into the nitty-gritty because we don't have much time here. Allorah's got things to do, places to be. My children will be home shortly. Post. Okay, and we're good. Okay. So, so many windows. All righty, here we go. How do I minimize my screens?
I don't know. What deck scares you? Crossbones said. None. Well, I don't know what you mean by scare. Like visually scare me, or scare me because it's so accurate, or... Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl. How you going? I would say that one of the creepiest decks, the one that was so, it's not that it scared me, it was just like, it actually disturbed me, in fact, was the Chicoli Tarot. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way that, and that's because I'm sensitive to anything that's relating to children. I'm a mother of 3, but beyond that, I'm just very sensitive to that kind of thing. And they made little children look so creepy and violated, and it held this creepy tone to it that I didn't think meshed well. However, I still worked with the deck. I just didn't like it because I didn't like the way that the deck was made. I didn't like the quality. I didn't like the way that the cards were organized. I just didn't like it. Just not a fun deck. But people did like that deck, and they came back with a with an oracle for that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, and I don't. So far, there's nothing that really scares me in the deck world.
No.
Oh, well, with the exception of I will refuse and will not look at the circus oracle. I have an irrational fear of clowns, so I cannot open that deck for that reason.
So the Tarot of the Circus Magi, that would be an out for you then.
Nothing with clowns. Because like I said,
Tragically comic, comically tragic Tarot of Minster Punch would be another one.
No.
They're all duck soup.
That's such a weird... So, Avalon, you know the whole story about my irrational fear of clowns.
Indeed, I do.
So just to add to that little story of what you already know. So as a child, I had this irrational fear of clowns. So what do my parents do? They hang a clown that swings on a swing in the corner of my bedroom. So I never get out of bed because I'm terrified.
That's just mean.
Hey, kept me in there.
Crazy stuff.
Hi, Angela. Hi, Alicia.
Hello, beauties. Hello.
Okay. So are we talking?
Ask any questions you like about this deck. Honest opinions. I happen to think it is a beautiful deck. I don't think I would even use it for clients, or if I did, I'd have to really feel the call to, you know? It's not one that I would leave in just my regular rotation. I'm like, oh, I'm setting up my altar for a reading. I'm going to grab this oracle. Like, no, I would need to really connect the person with the deck. I'd have to feel that connection. Otherwise, it would be a very personal deck for me. Liberation, protect, like, and each of the rituals. The ritual.
Yeah.
Simple. Let's read some of the rituals because we didn't do a lot of the rituals. So let's do some of the ritual reading right now.
Oh, wait.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm reading the ritual for, I won't read the whole card 13, which is liberation, free yourself. I'm going to read the ritual associated with that one. Ritual, the bound doll. To affirm liberation in your life and freedom from stagnancy, take a doll and wrap it in red cord or yarn many times until its arms and legs are bound. Every morning, focus on what you need to be liberated from and unwind 2 coils from the doll. Do this every day until the doll is unbound. By then, you will also be free.
Ooh. See, that's what I mean about the rituals are geared towards witches. Like, that is some sympathetic magic, right?
Right? That's doll magic. That's puppet magic, essentially.
Yeah, that's puppet, yeah. Okay, so 30, serendipity, says ritual, talismanic walk. Take a walk in a natural private environment. As you do, stack stones and weave leaves and vines together in various places as talismanic offerings to the universal flow, indicating that you are merged and moving with its intended best direction for you. Weaving!
Weave! All right, I'm choosing another one. I'm choosing Naz. Feel loved and proud. Ritual, pride of love ceremony. On one side of a page, make a list of people who love you and why they love you. On the other side of the page, list the reasons you love them. Create an altar of honor. She capitalizes altar and she capitalizes honor, which I adore. And decorate it with images of your beloved people, items and objects that relate to and celebrate them. As you honor their presence, you become a reflection of your intention, and in doing so, you are blessed. Light candles and incense to consecrate the space and keep this altar in place until the next full moon, as a reminder that you are loved and essential. That's some like mirror magic, isn't it?
Love it.
What do you got?
Resilience. Ritual, rebirth from the ashes. I can't wait to read this one.
Damn.
Assemble organic objects, items of clothing, things that represent your past, good and bad. It is time to release and grow. If it resonates, write descriptions of past events, happy and sad. Acknowledge everything that you are willing to release in order to be reborn from the ashes and to grow in wisdom and usefulness in the world. In a safe space where you will not be disturbed, burn your pile. Consider throwing handfuls of dried sacred herbs like sage, lavender, and eucalyptus leaves into the fire. Continue burning everything until it is reduced to ashes. Meditate on the flames and allow the glowing embers to reveal lessons learned. Collect the ashes and toss them into a flowing natural body of water or turn into the soil. Doing so will ensure the energy is transformed and you will rise into the next best expression of yourself.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I like that. And see what they're not convoluted. They're not take, a tulip from the top of Mount Sutata and, it's not convoluted. And she writes in a really easy to read and easy to follow manner. Like, you don't feel lazy when you read that. You're like, oh yeah, that's pretty straightforward. That's pretty simple. I can do that just sitting in the cozy corner of my home and,
And they're not overwhelming, because some rituals or spells that you find, it's like, oh my God, this has 500 steps. Like, what am I supposed to do?
And I wouldn't do that kind of thing. Like, I'm not into ceremonial magic at all. Not at all. Like, I like my magic to be folk magic, to be simple, common sense, easily accessible, and meaningful. Folk magic to me makes sense. Ceremonial magic to me seems to play a lot with intention and the imaginary and the visualized and the step-by-step this and that and hand signals. Have you seen?
Hand signals.
Leader? Like, if you've ever, ceremonial magicians will know what I'm talking about. All right, I'm going to read Oblivion, the Ritual for Oblivion, which is a beautiful, beautiful card, let me tell you. Ritual, face the sun. Wake just before sunrise and light a candle to guide the sun into the sky. As you stand ready to see it rise, receive the light into your own shadows. As the sun warms your face, know that it is time for you to emerge from the dark and see all the wonderful things around you just waiting for your acknowledgement. When the sun has elevated over the horizon, snuff the flame and keep the candle. Light it every morning until the next full moon to keep the sun guiding you into your life's next adventures. Simple, easy.
Love it.
So, I don't know. I'm just very impressed with the guidebook. I'm impressed with the simplicity of rituals. I feel that many people would actually follow these rituals and would benefit from it because it's not that convoluted mumbo jumbo. And coupled with the wisdom of the card, which is very cleanly written and easy to access, the deck itself is a beautiful self-ritual deck. So that doesn't sound right. A ritual deck for the self, for your own personal practice. And it is something that is mentioned in the early part of the book. However, she does leave room for those who want to read for others. There's a section in the early part of the book that talks about a blessing. So a blessing if you're just working autonomously with the deck, or a blessing if you're working with the deck and a client or a friend or, a querent.
Alicia, that's funny. She's like, and all the witches rejoice.
And all the witches rejoice indeed, right?
And I wanted to talk a little bit about this.
Oh, let's put this little deck away now, and we're going to move on to some of the ritual elements. And as we're doing so, I'm going to carve up a new candle and use that very thing.
So we both, let me just say that before Juniper sent this to me.
Oh, you don't know the story. Juniper Moon Apothecary sent us both a care package.
Yes, and I had no idea what Abramelin oil was until I got the package, so I told her what oils I needed, and then I said, well, just throw an extra one in there if you want to. If you don't want to, it's fine. She threw this in there, and I was like, I don't even know what this is.
Carving a candle here, okay?
I was like, I don't even know what this is. And then I looked it up, and it's connected to Jewish mysticism. It is an oil for ritual ceremony, but it is also an oil that's used to anoint books and decks and sacred items, and it enhances knowledge and wisdom and your ability to soak that up. So I was really touched because not many people probably pay attention to the fact that I didn't have my DNA done, but my brother did. And we were quite shocked that we have Ashkenazi Jewish heritage. So for her to remember that and throw it in was really cool. But using the oil, did I feel like it did what it was supposed to do? Absolutely, because let me tell you, those cards were wide awake. And while we were reading, we got several compliments about how well we read together and how in-depth the readings were, which, and this stuff smells like, it smells like if you ever put,
it smells like autumn.
Yeah, it smells like if you ever put a simmering pot on your stove with cloves and cinnamon and orange peel. Yeah, I mean, it smells like fall and apple. It's just delicious. Oh, my hands smell like it too.
Oh, it's such a decent scent. It's so yummy. I tell you, folks, pretty much the most fragrant oil I have ever smelt in a very unique way. Not the prettiest, it holds a record for something.
The name of the oil sunset outlet is Abramelin. So that's Abramelin. And Cross Potent asked, do you have a familiar? I feel like my wand is like my familiar. Do I have a familiar? No.
I do.
I mean, I have
an echo.
Huh?
There was an echo.
I didn't hear it.
There was an echo, but keep going.
Oh no, I don't. I mean, I have animal totem spirits, but I don't. Like, to me, a familiar is a specific animal. You know what I mean? Like, you can say that cats are your familiars, but I feel like this particular cat would be somebody's familiar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm old-fashioned. See, I'm more old school than most, because I don't look at animals as familiars at all. I have a familiar spirit. Like, that's my familiar. And when you talk about traditional witchcraft and older practitioners, they don't tend to consider like having an animal ally and a spirit companion, that is more animalistic to me. But my familiar is with me in ritual, helps me in magical practice, visits me in my dreams. That's not a spirit guide because it's not the same type of thing, but very interesting. Very interesting. Please continue.
Oh, please continue.
I'm just going to, I ran out of my candle and then I have to carve a new one. Oh my God, I just forgot how to spell the most basic word. Do you ever have that?
What? Well, the other day I started writing in French, so that happened.
Oh.
Remember? And I texted you because I thought it was German, and then I was like, oh, no, wait. It's French. And you're like, oh, that's a new guide.
That's right. Don't you love it when you make a spelling mistake on your candle?
And you're like, oh, no, not that, not that.
Sometimes I'm just like, you get where I'm going. Yes, all right. Candle has been carved. I need this because I'm baptizing another deck.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm not.
Okay, so this is the Abramelin. It doesn't look this cloudy
It's
when you
not
get
Merlin. It's not Merlin.
it.
It's
Abramelin.
She so wants it to be Merlin.
I think I hear Merlin in it.
Because when you smell it, it smells like what Merlin would have smelled like, I think. It would have been smelling like Christmas.
That is like the beautiful clear liquid that it is.
Oh my gosh, it smells so good.
So good, hey.
So good.
Like,
And
you should load your candles with this before you go. We had that conversation already, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. As if I'd let you go without that.
As if I'd let you go without that.
All right, we are good here, folks. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Bit loosey-goosey in there.
What? What are you talking about?
The candle, it was like...
Oh, I'm like,
We're not
no.
going to sit right in there. We're not going to sit there for you, just like that. Which I was like, bitch, yes, you are. All right. So, I need the zooty. So here's the story. Allorah, how did you come across the Everyday Witch?
Okay, so my partner was visiting in America, and this is a funny story. And we went to my favorite shop. It is in Nashville, Tennessee. It is called Papa G's Botanica. It is a hoodoo, voodoo, Southern folk magic, all the things shop down there. I mean, you can fix your own candles there. They have poppets. They have all the books on hoodoo, voodoo that you can think of. It's just a great shop. And they have walls of tarot and oracle cards. And so we were checking out their tarot section because my partner was like, yeah, I'm going to get a deck while I'm here. And so he picked this one up, which I was kind of making fun of him for. It's like, what the hell are you doing with that? And he was like, I don't know. He was like, I'm just drawn to it. He was like, I was thinking about this for my daughter. And I was like, I don't know about that.
How's about no?
So we got it. And then I ended up, it was in my house, and I picked it up and I said, well, are you going to give this to her or what? And he said, well, I don't know. He was like, or you. He was like, I don't know why I bought it I was like, okay. So I was like, well, do you want me to open it? And he was like, yeah. And then from there, it was like, I think this is fine. But yeah, like I wasn't initially attracted to this deck. Like I was like, that's a little.
That's a little bit meh.
Yeah, but then when I actually opened it and held it and started working with it, I was like, this is actually a really good deck. And it kind of reminds me of the Wizard's Tarot in the way that it feels.
Which I hate that deck. I hate it.
But I love it.
So there's that story. And then Allorah messages me going, hey, I got a new deck. Do you have this deck? And I'm like, no, I don't like it. Something to that effect to shorten the conversation, of course. And then she's like, oh my God, every couple of days, she was coming back to me with like a clarifier. Oh, I just had this, experience. And this deck is so good. I mean, it's so good. I'm so surprised, And it was a build-up and I'm like, no, just utter resistance, right?
No.
I'm like, look at how whimsical this looks. I'm the creator of the Bone, Stone, and Earth Flesh Tarot. Look at how whimsical that looks, right? I was like, I feel like after the Bone Stone, people know what I like. It came out of my brain, so people know what I like. And that's definitely not there. This is not to say that I don't have decks of a wide variety. And I've got to say that the Green Witch Tarot by Anne Moira, it too wasn't a deck that I immediately found myself drawn to, but it is an excellent deck. It's a very, very, very good deck. And the guidebook to that deck is very, very good. Anne Moira is an author, a pagan author, very well known for the Green Witch series, amongst many other books on paganism. And she writes that book beautifully, and you get a nice big chunky book with it. And it's a beautiful deck. So,
well, I personally, how do I say this? I did not pressure Evelyn into buying this. I just talked about it a lot.
You just dangled the carrot daily.
And then one day she's like, you're not going to believe what I did. And I was like, what? She's like, I bought this deck.
I sent her the screenshot because I bought it from book depository with something along the lines of, you win. So I'm going to open it. I'm going to unbox it.
You're going to love the box.
It's happening.
It's happening.
My poor sister's fruit knife is sticky with abramelin and wax. Because I just carved up a candle. I seldom use a knife to carve up a candle. I use a glass-tipped quill.
Is that what you use, really?
Yeah, a glass-tipped quill.
Oh, I always use a knife. And I end up cutting myself usually. But I take that as a sign that I'm supposed to anoint the candle with my blood.
I usually use this dark blood-tipped.
This just got dark.
I know, it just went really dark. Embrace the shadow. I usually use, it's a glass, like very fine glass point, and it comes with, it came in a little set with all of these magical inks. And I don't use the inks just yet. I'm working myself up to them. I'm saving them for special occasions because I actually really love magical inks, but they're the only ones that I've got. So I'm like, special occasion. But I do dip that quill in magical oils. So I'll carve the intention and then I'll dip it in oil and then I'll go over the top and then I'll dress the candle. And I feel like then it is done.
Nice.
All right,
Okay, go.
Sleeve is off.
So what do you think of the box?
Shiny.
But
sturdy for a Llewellyn box. Hello. Like magnetic clasp. I don't understand why Llewellyn doesn't do all their boxes like this.
I don't know.
Because the Green Witch was in one of their cardboardy ones. All right. Inside looks like so. Very whimsical, very storybook.
All the way to the top of the box. There's no
See
room.
that? Llewellyn for the win. There's no room whatsoever in that. That is just, look at that, flush. Perfectly designed. There's a little bit of movement in there only, but that's beneath the book. All right, let's take, we're using the little pull tie here. Very beneficial. Oh, look at that. It's the weirdest fool. All right, so let's have a look at this book. Everyday Witch Tarot, Deborah Blake, artist Elizabeth Alba. Okay, the back reads, a guide to the everyday witch tarot helps you discover the positive possibilities that come to light when you read the cards. Deborah Blake's down-to-earth explanations include questions and answers, card meanings, and spread ideas. This book makes reading tarot simple, especially for those who aren't versed in esoteric symbol and lore. Discover classic tarot art updated for the modern world and uplifting ideas that support empowerment and hope. Deborah Blake is a Wiccan high priestess and leader of the eclectic group Blue Moon Circle. She manages the Artisans Guild, a non-for-profit artist cooperative shop, and works as a tarot reader and energy healer. She's the author of Everyday Witchcraft, The Witch's Broom, and several other books exploring contemporary witchcraft. Deborah lives in I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's New York. Oneonta?
Wait, you're reading the book. Never mind.
The back of the book. New York, and can be found online. Elizabeth Alba earned her MFA in illustrations from the School of Visual Arts in New York City. She has illustrated books and other projects for Scholastic Simon & Schuster, Oxford University Press, Henry Holt Books for young readers, and many more. Elizabeth lives in Western Massachusetts, and her artwork can be seen at www.albaillustrations.com. This book was published by Llewellyn Publishing and printed in China.
Okay, so front of the book. Does this remind you of anything?
Reminds me of my Brusha card.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw it. I was like, oh my, OMG.
And I didn't even have a hand in designing that card, folks.
I know. That was all me and Nana and Chase.
And then my friends ambushed me. Oh, the pages are high gloss. Oh, look, artist and author.
There you go.
Very nice, hey. This is author. This is artist. They look similar to each other. Okay, every page is high gloss, which I am just not a fan of, folks. It reads like a graphic novel. 252 pages.
And I love it.
It's a nice book, though.
It's more sturdy.
It's magazine print, you know, every page high gloss. So you get a note section. Good luck finding a pen that will write on high gloss paper. Didn't think that through, did they?
And I like that they do this. I like full images.
Yeah, the full image is a nice touch. Very well spread across the page, very well balanced. Stereotypical conical hats. Okay, so you get a sample of the artwork in the very front of the book, like so, and then the authors, then more of the sample artwork, table of contents. So chapter 1, about the deck and how to use it, how to do readings. Chapter 2, common questions and answers, some tarot extras. Chapter 3, the major arcana and minor arcana. Chapter 4, conclusions. So the introduction is nice and long. chapter 1. I'm not going to go into that. That's pretty straightforward. What I'd like to know is how many
what?
So the Fool, you get a fair bit of a write-up. So here we go. The Fool here starts there. You flip over the page and you have a continuation. Like, what I'd like to know is, dark-haired witch wearing the classic black hat and gown sits astride a broom about to sail off a cliff into the unknown. Her attitude is joyous. Her arms are spread wide. Her eyes are closed and her mouth is open. To be perfectly honest, she looks drunk. Perched behind her is a black and white cat, one paw holding onto the back of her gown with its claws. The other eye is over its eye. Oh, okay. The cat knows the journey into the unfamiliar is fraught with peril, but he's found his witch companion anyway. Okay. So why is she flying off into the unknown? Things to consider. Getting the Fool card means, this is interesting.
Wait a minute. You skipped a bunch.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Go on.
Hang on. All right, I'll read the rest of it. So why is she flying off into the who knows where? Because sometimes you reach a point where there is no choice but to close your eyes and jump. Life doesn't come with any guarantees, and from time to time you have to make the big leap in order to reap the big rewards. They don't call it a leap of faith for nothing after all. Sometimes you just got to believe. Things to consider. Getting the Fool card doesn't mean you are a fool, far from it. What it probably means is that you have been hesitating at the precipice of a big decision, afraid to make the kind of choice that could change your whole life forever, or even of making a smaller choice that could shake things up. The Fool reminds us that after a while, you have to stop considering all the possible options, listen to your gut, and just do it. If you don't have faith in the universe, then have faith in yourself. Even if the adventure doesn't work out the way you want it to, you will almost certainly learn something and grow from the experience. So, as you can see, it's very simple. It's simple tarot. There's nothing complex. This is not Rachel Pollack or Mary-Kate Greer going into the depths of their souls and, you know, the collective unconscious to pull out tarot symbolism. It's written very matter-of-factly, very simple. My 9-year-old daughter could probably read that. And I'm not saying that to disrespect the author at all. I'm just saying that it's suitable for the beginner because it's non-complex. But you don't find out about tarot symbolism in this deck from the looks of things. Would you say you do, Allorah, because you're well versed on it and I am not?
Do you learn about? No. But I love this deck for teaching purposes. This is a great deck to use for teaching others, at least in my experience as well. Because you do have the traditional symbolism here, but it's a little bit different. Go on.
Better cardstock. You keep talking. I'm going to go and do my Abra Merlin and smudgies.
So while, how do I put this? I like to use it to teach people with because it is not, I love the RWS, but for newbies, sometimes it's really hard because there are quite a few cards where, I'm trying to think, where there's not a whole lot to prompt your intuition. So if you're not used to flexing that muscle, looking at just the traditional RWS can be difficult because you don't know to look at the colors and look at this and look at the direction of a foot and look at you know what I mean? They're not that adept yet. They're not that aware that those are the things, even the smallest details can be important.
Yeah, right.
So what I like about this deck is that there is tons of symbolism here, tons of art for them to draw from, to be prompted, to prompt their intuition to start moving. So hang on. We'll look at this one first. just as a for instance. So this is the Knight of Cups, right? So the Knight of Cups is the besotted messenger who in the tarot, he is the one that will write you a poem and he's love drunk, basically. But I love this because, so he's up here, he's flying sky high, hearts coming out of the cup, and there's a shark swimming below him. So obviously, even to the beginner, they're going to look at this and be like, oh, this is such a, wait, what's happening? You know what I mean?
And it tells you there's danger to wearing your heart on your sleeve. Like you have to,
right.
You have to tread carefully.
Yeah, so I feel like this deck does a really great job with the symbolism. And yeah, even though like the artwork's a little bit cheesy, but I love conical heads. Like,
I'm a little bit cheesy. I thought that's what you were going to say.
I am a little bit cheesy. But I'm not super cheesy all the time, but yeah. So I think the symbolism in this deck is brilliant, especially for teaching others. That's why I love this deck. Because I can pick it up and be with people who know nothing about the cards, and they can look at them and be like, ooh, well, this doesn't look good. They can already start getting a feel when I read of what it is insinuating.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Hey, I like the back. The backing is so pretty. I'm just anointing my deck with abramelin. Said it right then, did you see?
Uh-huh.
And I'll say it again. Abramelin is one of those classic oils that you would be that would be well placed to use to anoint all of your ceremonial tools, all your divination equipment. For example, your working candle would be a really great one. Your all-purpose witch's working candle. And just the space that you're on, or even anoint yourself prior to ritual.
Well, and I would also say that although I do love this oil and the smell is divine, I probably wouldn't use this in spring and summer because I'd want something more lemony, more citrusy, more spring and summer. But this is definitely the ritual oil for fall, winter, hands down.
What have we got here? What's the name of the oil again? Oh, Sunset Owl. Abramelin.
Yeah. What other oils can we anoint our tools with? Alicia Beaver wants to know.
Well, you can make your own oils, of course. That's a really good one. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. It depends what tool it is. I'm a huge fan of uncrossing. So I'll anoint things with uncrossing oil to remove any built up energy, any negative energy, or any pre-manufacturing energy. I like Crown of Success. So if you want to have a successful working relationship with your tools, then Crown of Success is a very good one.
Okay, I need you to give me some first impressions. I've got to go. We've been on for an hour.
No! All right. My first impressions are that it's very cartoony. It's super duper cartoony, and that worries me. But as far as, hang on, okay, I'll flip through the whole thing. All right, very vivid colors like King, really vivid. So it does remind me a lot of the Green Witch's Tarot, really sassy. So stereotypical, yes, but relatively sassy. in that way. What's some of your favorite cards, Allorah?
Favorite cards?
Oh, I like the Knight of Wands.
I love the Temperance card. Anybody who does yoga loves the Temperance card.
Oh, I've got to find it. 7 of Cups. Oh, beautiful. That's beautiful.
Because she's trying to do standing tree pose, but she also only has one eye open. So that definitely says balance. And then on one side, she's got healthy food. The other side, junk food.
I love the 8 of Swords. Very beautiful 8 of Swords. 3 of Swords for those who care. It's like, look at that. Not too hard hitting. Oh, okay. Judgment, the Sun, the Moon. Oh, the Moon. The cat to the panther. That's interesting. The Tower is pretty funny, like mischievous rubble. The Devil, Temperance, Death. I don't know. I don't love the Death card.
Hold on. Wait, where are you?
I'm the Death. The symbolism is there. It's just not the best I've ever seen. Wheel of Fortune could have been better as well. Didn't really love the Wheel of Fortune. The Hermit is nice. I love that Hermit. You should be pretty happy with that one, Allorah.
Yeah, I do.
Strength is fine. Don't like the Chariot. I think that's a little bit too full on modern. The Lovers is great. The Hierophant. It's an interesting Hierophant. It's nice to see that it's a woman. Emperor is nice. The Empress, very like full with child. The High Priestess and the Magician. All in all, it's a relatively well-balanced deck. Now, it depends on how it reads.
I love this too. Because usually the 8 of Wands is not a cyclone. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you don't get that general symbolism in most cards because you're looking at 8 wands shooting through the sky. But I think here we get a different feel for the 8 of Wands that we don't normally get. But, that can be, well, I'm bringing up another deck anyway. I was thinking about the steampunk, and I think that deck is brilliant too, because in the 8 of Wands, there are 8 wands shooting through the sky, but they're all different. So one is a lit wand, one is a sword, so they're made of all different materials. So it was interesting.
Sorry, this deck just spat its first card at me, landed on my feet. The Lovers. And I thought, that speaks of us right now, our co-creative genius.
A co-creative genius. Ooh.
That was a really nice first message. It's warmed me, it's like I'm warmed up now. I'm warmed to it. It gave me a good message.
It gave me a good message.
All right, I'm going to pull 3 cards. Oh, 10 of Swords.
Oh.
The 3 of Cups. And the Hermit.
Ooh.
I think that the 10 of Swords is about my prejudice against the deck.
And the 3 of Cups is your present state of mind about the deck. And the Hermit means you're going to go meditate.
No, don't you see what it's saying here, Allorah? Friends, and the Hermit is the Virgo. It literally told the story about why I got the deck. It was because I didn't want the deck, and I was like, no, 0, 0, no. And
so this one came out, right? And I think you're gonna find that this is You can use it for multiple things.
Mm.
So it's more of an all-rounder. It's not specifically designed for shadow work, or it's not specifically designed for love readings, or it's not, you know what I mean?
Which I like. Now I want to pull a card to clarify my reading that I just got. My first reading with the deck. Tell you what, this Abramelon, it wakes it up, doesn't it?
It does. I love it.
And for those curious, I put one single drop on my hands. I rubbed my hands together. I touched the whole entire deck, and then I touched each individual one.
What'd you get?
Perfect acceptance.
Oh, it accepts you, even though you did not like it.
I'm killing myself laughing.
What?
I'm killing myself laughing over here. Perfect acceptance. Literally, like, that's the reflection space from the Hermit. Oh, that is so funny. Look at this. That's so funny. I just noticed, though, this bums me a bit, but not so much that I would never use the deck, but the backing is not reversible.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a bummer. But when it's like that, I just tend to use the deck upright. I don't bother reversing it because then I know.
Right, yeah.
So how have you found, give me some reflections, some personal reflections on the deck. Like, how have you found it? Because I've just unboxed it. I've anointed it. It's got a funny sense of humor.
Yeah, it's very sassy. It's very literal a lot of the time. And I find it works really great for things like things you need quick answers on, or just general daily reads. It's really good for, or at least for me. To get like an overall feel of the energy, and it's a great deck to teach with.
That's very nice. That is very nice.
And just so you know, yes, I teach tarot on my website.
Very nice.
So yeah, I like it for teaching purposes.
Yeah, it's a really good one. I think I used the Green Witch Tarot for one of the Tarot Summer School classes the master classes that I created. Not this year, not last year, but the year before, I think.
Nice.
And, yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one because it's simple. It's simple imagery. If the imagery is too convoluted, then it's harder for beginners to. Oh, I'm talking about teaching, and the Hierophant landed on my lap. Lap.
I told you it's literal.
Very nice.
All right, loves, lovely people. I have got to.
Michelle's skedaddle.
I'm so late.
We have given you all that we can on the lovely Magic of You Oracle. We have shared the unboxing of the Everyday Witch. Of course, for those in the Card Slinger tier, I'll be doing a much closer inspection of the Everyday Witch, and I might even use it for some daily draws or something like that for the page. In the meantime, thanks so much for hanging out, and yes, let's speak to you again very, very soon. Much love and many blessings. I'll see ya.